Oh man, oh man. Oh man, oh man. Yes, sir. What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video with your boy Thick Whips. Today we are installing the EVS Fenders on the Supra. This is one that I've been wanting to do for a while, you guys. The EVS Fenders are, in my opinion, like hands down the sickest option that you can do for replacement fenders on this car. Great part about these fenders is they are direct replacement, like bolt up, it's like 4 or 5 bolts or something, like super easy install, very straightforward. So there are a couple of other options that are out there for fenders on these cars, and in my opinion, I think these ones are like hands down the best looking. They're also the most aggressive, and I think with this car, with the color that it is, these fenders are going to look super good. I also have not seen a black Supra with the EVS fenders yet, so I'm really excited to see that. You guys know the drill. I'm gonna have a link to these fenders down in the description if you wanna buy a set. Hands down, the most important part of this is paint and PPF. So obviously, I had them painted and PPF before I install them. This is gonna show a lot of tire, so you can kind of imagine what's going to happen. There's going to be more rocks coming up. That is just inevitable. But now that we have the daily, we're driving this less, I'm okay with taking that risk. So if you are wondering, obviously it's replacing this panel right here. And you can imagine with showing more tire, rocks are gonna come out. I don't think we're gonna have an issue with anything hitting the rear section, like the rear quarter or the door or anything. I think really it's only going to affect the actual fenders themselves. So these look absolutely sick. Super excited to install them. My paint guy absolutely crushed it on the color. There's a lot of flake in these. It's not just like a black car. Nocturnal black has a lot of crazy flake to it. There's like blue hues, there's silver hues, and a lot of that flake really stands out in the sun. So you have to absolutely nail it. My good buddy painted these for me, and dude, they look absolutely amazing. I literally just got these out of PPF. I just picked them up from Sensational and they PPF'd all this stuff for me. There's still some little like air pockets in it, but those will go away as these sit in the sun. But dude, I'm so hyped. Look at how good these look. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Dude, they're gonna look so sick. They're gonna look so good. So basically the way to do this, the way to replace these fenders is pretty easy. Got some push pins here. We're taking off this whole cowl. And then once we remove this, which is literally just these plastic pins that we pop off, you're gonna have some 10mm bolts. We are gonna have to jack the car up. I'm probably just gonna take this wheel off. It's gonna be easier because we do have to take out the fender well. And then when you open the door, there's a couple of bolts in here as well. And then we'll also need to drop the side skirt extension, which is really just one bolt. I should be able to get away with just undoing this one, and then we'll pop this out. This is just in by little plastic rivets. There's a plastic piece under here. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to run the TLG mud flaps. I might be able to cut them up and make them work, but I don't think it's gonna happen. That's okay. We'll leave the back ones on. They're doing their job back there. In my opinion, the part that you wanna pay the most attention to is when you are, well, one, lining it up and making sure it's perfect, but also the fender well is gonna have to be cut because the fender well goes all the way around for that fender, but you're gonna have to cut out this piece because obviously you don't want fender well just showing here. It's gonna be all tire. So you have to be very, very careful about cutting that. Now I saw a video that Evasive or someone put up, I can't remember who it was. I'll be honest, they botched the shit out of it. They did not do a good job, and honestly, if I was a customer, I would not be happy with that. So you have to be very careful when cutting the fender well to make sure it's good. They did it with like a knife, I think. Use a Dremel. This is gonna be a lot easier. We're gonna mark it with a marker and then just use the Dremel to make sure it's precise. The last thing you wanna do is cut your fender well too short and then have open gaps from the inside, throwing rocks inside of the fender. We don't want that. That's the number one thing you want to avoid. So I think that about covers everything. Let's get into it. I'm gonna first just take off the wheel, jack up the car, and start from there. Also, I got the NV Specialties ECU cover. I remember telling you guys I would show you that when it got in. Things are looking good, man. So yeah, these are for sure my favorite option as far as fenders. There's some other ones out there that are a little more like stockish. I think Sabre Designs makes one where it's literally the same thing. It just has a vent right here. While that's cool, for me on a black car, like there wouldn't be enough of a difference to really get those. Like I wanted something that made a big impact, so I knew that these would do it. Obvious sacrifice here is going to be possibly getting rocks thrown up, but that is why you go ahead and PPF. So huge shout out to my buddy Zach who did all the painting. He absolutely crushed it. And then also huge shout out to Sensational Tint Wrap Detail for doing all of the PPF. Anyways, let's get into it. It's gonna be fun. Can't wait. I'm excited. Let's go. So there's like a million of these little guys. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 8mm and 3 10mm. So the part that we're gonna be cutting is like over here, cutting some of that out. We'll figure that out once we get everything out. The other bolts right there up top, that one down there that you're seeing, like you'll see the clip above it and then you'll see the 10 below it. It's facing the wrong direction. So we're actually gonna be flipping that around so you can access it from this side. And then that one is already facing the way we want it. All right, so I'm gonna get into it. You're gonna have to open the door and everything when you do this too. So let's take out the top first. Just a bunch of pop pins. Boo boo. All right, so looks like we got another little push pin right here. Pop that out. Then we got this 10mm right here, and then this 10mm right here. You gotta get it from the bottom. This part sucks. This bolt right here that I just got out, there's like this flame propellant all over it that you have to remove. Yeah, not fun. Sat there with a knife for about 10 minutes. So you can see all those little clips holding in, and the bottom, those are holding in the fender to the side skirt. So now we're going to get that really tough screw right up there and pull off this part in order to get that last screw. This screw up here that's facing this way, we're gonna actually just face it this way on the new fenders so we can access it easier. This is the weapon of choice. It's got a little swivel to it, 10 mil on the side. So to explain to you guys that part, what you're doing is, this is laying in there like that, and go in through the inside of the fender, hit each one like that, and push. Go through each one, and then this will come out. You need to remove this in order to get that last 10 mil. That's the last one. You can like hardly even see it. So I think the only way to do it, it's basically sitting like right here, just barely there in the corner. That's what you have to get, that last 10 mil. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think we're gonna use this guy, and we're gonna go in from the top. For obvious reasons, it's gonna be very hard to record. Oh God, dude. That sucked. So that's why you flip it around so you can access it from this side. This is the only way I could get to it, and you have that much room to fit it in there. Whew, that was not fun at all. Got it off. So you'll see that's the one. So we're gonna flip that around on the new fender. The other guys who installed these, they said to throw this on like this, like flip it around and put it in. However, you can't do that. It would affect the fitment of it, and I'll show you why. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So if you flip this piece around, it wouldn't make sense because the bolt will still have to somehow connect to this. So what you wanna do is actually take this piece and lose it in your side skirt, because that's freaking tight. Is you want to take this piece, and rather than putting this on the fender, you're going to want to put it on here, and you're going to want to put it like that. And the reason you want to do that is because the bracket on the fender needs to sit on this side. If you put this onto the fender, you'd have to have the bracket on the fender in here, which will 100% affect the fitment. It'll make it too tight. Could have door issues. So yeah, that's not the move. Leave these two ones off, peel it back, start with the one down there in the corner. Now we're cruising, dude. Get those attached, those two in there first, get those two attached, and then you want to adjust the top. So here's the fitment, like right off the jump, really, really good. Super duper slim, tight, good looking fitment. So I'm really happy with that. Like that looks insanely nice. So we have all the inside ones. I left these top ones kind of loose because I'm gonna bring the hood down a little bit and just make sure that things seem to line up okay before I drop it all the way. But yeah, I mean, dude, the fitment is like money. So I'm waiting to do this last one too. I'm gonna do the clip from the inside right here. It looks like they forgot to drill out the hole right here. So I'm gonna have to hold that in and drill through. Other than that, everything looks really good, man. Like the fitment looks freaking solid. This piece in here is kind of a pain in the butt to get in because you don't have a lot of room to work with. So you just have to keep like moving the door open and closing and like finagle it in. But yeah, so the fitment is like, dude, really good. This all looks really good down here. Everything's clipped in. I actually ended up using a new bolt down there for the one that was like all covered in shit. So now we get to do the fun part where I have to cut out the liner, but we got to get it in there and then trace it and then Dremel. All right, so I put that guy in and I put that guy in and I got it as close as I think it's going to get. It's going to fit better once I cut back here because it's hitting the fender now. So what's gonna happen is I'm going to draw the line above where the fender is, like outside of it, and then I'm going to be cutting right beneath where the line is. And that should set us up to where we need to be. Looking pretty good, dude. Absolute war zone. It took a minute, but your boy did it. This is like the only discrepancy. Yeah, I know. Just a little bit short. But man, like you guys will find out if you're doing this modification, you will find out that cutting that part is not easy. Like, and getting it right is not easy. So I was able to get everything to line up really well. Got the push pins back in, I got all the screws back in. It just took a minute. The best way to explain it is you just have to keep taking the liner, putting it on, putting the screws in, moving things around, and then drawing and cutting. I personally think the best way to cut is with a Dremel. It's just more precise. I tried using a knife and I just didn't like the way that it was cutting. It took a minute and I really took my time doing it. But now that I have it finished and just about there, I'm really happy with it. The other side is the exact same. I mean, there's really no difference. The only thing is you're juggling the washer reservoir. Just gonna go ahead and knock it out, save you guys the misery of watching that, and then we'll just hop into some cinematics so you guys can see how they look on the car. All said and done, wheels on. 1, 2, 3. All right, you guys ready to see these, dude? It's like the sickest stock body Supra modification that you can do. Bruh. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my God, I'm so hyped. Oh my God, dude, it's not even the same car. All of the girth. Oh, it's so nasty, dude. It looks like it would be like a wide body car because of that. And it flows so well. Like all of the lines flow really good coming through. The way that this all curves out and into there is like so seamless and clean. Oh, dude, I'm in love with it. Like completely changed the car. So yeah, man, I'm really happy with it. I had to do a little bit of moving in on this side just to get it perfect, but it is like A1, dude. The fitment is like unbelievably good. I really didn't have to do that much modification to make it work as well as it does. Super duper good fitment all the way around. Paint matches really good. It's just so sick. It's just so sick. When you guys get to the other side and you are working around the windshield washer reservoir, that is kind of a bitch. You have to actually take the reservoir out, and I actually ended up using a wire, and I hung it because you don't want to take it out completely or else obviously like the fluid's gonna leak everywhere. I was able to like take it out and then I hung it while I was working on those like weird bolts to get at. That was the way to do it. Overall install took, it took a little bit of time because I took it slow. Like personally, obviously I'm filming, so it's like twice as long for everything, but I decided to take it really slow. Like when I did the cutting in the fenders, my cuts are like perfect. And I knew that I wanted to make those cuts really good because I saw in the other person's video that did the only other video that's out on installing these, their cuts were like really bad. And if you have those open gaps in those cuts, you're gonna be letting rocks and water and like soap and just everything from the road is gonna go into there. So I think it's a really good idea to like take your time, just trace and be like conservative with the tracing and maybe even further out and then like slowly cut inwards. I must have put in the fender well in there and taken it off and like recut 4 or 5 times on each side just to make sure it was like perfect. But we got it, dude. I'm really stoked with it. I think it looks really good. I just feel like with a black car, like these are the only option. The other ones, it's too hard to see those kind of lines on this car. If I just did like a little slit in it, you wouldn't even be able to see it. It would just, I might as well just stay stock at that point. These are like next best to like going wide because it makes it look wide because you get all that chunky meat from the tire sticking out. Really, really hyped on how this car is looking, dude. Just look at how nasty. Like I've wanted these fenders for so long. When I first saw the fenders, I was like, those are it. Like those are gonna change the car. It turned out so good. Anyways, I'm gonna have the product linked down below. Huge shout out to Keys Motorsports for sending me these EVS fenders. If you guys want a set, click that link. Go ahead and buy yourself a set. If you have a Supra, dude, get these. Make sure you get someone who does really, really good paint work and does really, really good PPF work, and then buy these. But also a huge shout out to my guy Zach who did the painting, and then also Sensational for the PPF. Killer job on everything. They just crushed it. The car's going back into Sensational next week to get all the PPF redone on the hood and the front bumper. So we're gonna have this thing like A1 condition here soon. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate all of you so much. You guys have been killing it in the comments and liking, and the views and everything have been great lately. I appreciate all of you so much. But just like that, you guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. Make sure you check out the link in the description to new merch. Support your boy, support the channel so we can keep building this, man. We're almost at 100K. Let's get it. Let's get it. What are we doing? What are you doing, man? You've been hanging out for so long and you haven't even subscribed yet. Come on, dude, just subscribe. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you. See you in the next one. Peace out.